thank you everybody for coming at this press conference with great singer, New Orleans soul queen. But I know she doesn't like
it doesn't
soul,
matter.
Queen of soul.
There you go.
Irma Thomas, it's such a great honor to have you at the Jazz Festival, ASCONA. And maybe the first question is for Nicolas Gier. He can explain us why he wanted to bring Irma at the festival.
Okay, my relationship to Irma was the first time I had something to do with her is 18 years ago, when I was living in New Orleans for a while, for half a year. I was living in the Tremé at that time, at John Gutte's house.
Okay.
And I remember I just got to New Orleans, and in the morning early, I hear this loud music, really loud music, and I go like, whoa, what's this? And I wasn't used to this. That's typical New Orleans. You hear music all over them.
24/7.
And there was going to be a concert of Irma Thomas in Louis Armstrong Park. So first, of course, you're asleep. You had a wild night before, and I was kind of, what's this? I want to sleep now. But then when I discovered it's Irma Thomas, that night was unforgettable. It was so nice. So from then on, she was in my heart. And finally, after 18 years,
wow.
Yeah, we are here sitting at the festival. And to me, when you know the festival is dedicated to the ladies, when the question came up, who is the lady of New Orleans, it was clear, Irma.
Thank you.
So it's really a privilege and honor to welcome you to ASCONA, and my dream goes on.
Thank you. Sorry it took so long.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm
better late than never.
Still young in this job, so I'm happy I was able to invite you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In 2007, you received a Grammy Award, and I just read what Don McLeese stated at the ceremony. And he says, most singers who have been recording as long as Irma Thomas resort to tricks, mannerisms, and show-off displays, but she remains the anti-diva, a stylist of exquisite understatement, whose every note rings true and hits home. Do you think it's a good...
It's me.
that's really...
I mean, I'm at the stage, I just didn't see any reason to be any different. I'm just a plain everyday person. I just happen to sing for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so why should I be any different than anyone else?
Yep.
You know, it's a gift, and it's not to be overstated. It's what was given to me, and I try to use it to make people happy. It wasn't given to me to look down on anyone. It was given to me to make people happy. So, you know, why should I be any different?
Yeah. And maybe you can explain us a little bit about your career, how it began, and it's a long career already.
Yeah, it's approximately 53 years long so far. It began rather, well, interestingly. I was a dishwasher first, and I was singing to keep myself company on the job. The hours was 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. And so, you know, you get some pretty lonesome downtime in there. And I was singing to keep myself company, and I got fired for singing on the job. So that was the first time. The second time was I was a waitress at a nightclub, and I wanted to sing with the band. I mean, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong because I like singing. So I got up and I sung with the band a few times, and they started asking for the singing waitress, and that wasn't what I was hired to do, so I got fired again. And the band hired me, and the rest is history.
Do you have any question? Michelle?
Was that what Tommy originally planned?
That was what Tommy originally spanned, yes. He said, don't worry about it, Irma, you have a job. So he did. He lived up to what he said. First time he told me about doing an audition, I thought he was joking. So I didn't show up. He came and got me and took me to the audition. I went on a Monday to audition. I was in the studio that Wednesday, and 2 weeks later I had a record out. It was called You Could Have My Husband, but Please Don't Mess With My Name.
That Robert Parker.
Robert Parker played the solo, yeah, saxophone solo, yeah. Dr. John played guitar. I forgot who the drummer was, but yeah. Some very, very well-known musicians. Yeah.
For many, many years you had a club in New Orleans.
Yeah, my husband had the club. I just happened to be a part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Lion's Den. Yeah. It's no longer there now. The storm washed it away, so we decided we didn't want to be in the club business anymore, so we're not. Too much work. Yes.
Can I ask you, you moved away from New Orleans in the 60s for another hurricane. 70. Camille took you to California,
Yeah.
but you came back.
Yeah.
What is it that keeps bringing you back to New Orleans?
It's home.
It's home.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever people ask me that and I say it's home, I think they understand better than if I went through a long explanation, which there is no long explanation other than the fact I met my husband and he said I either live in California or live in New Orleans, live in California without him or live in New Orleans with him.
There we go.
So I chose to live in New Orleans because I was coming back often, so why not? And it's home.
It's home.
Yes.
Despite maybe
Everything
some fear that
still,
something
never
else.
fear, because that's a part of how we live. It's like California lives with earthquakes.
Okay.
New Orleans lives with hurricanes, and it's part of our everyday life.
Right.
In fact, when we left, there was one out in the Gulf, so you know.
You've had an incredible journey, and there have been some times that haven't been easy for you. What kept you going? I mean, you just kept picking yourself up and you just kept going. What is it? What's the driving force? What do you?
Well, everybody said it wasn't easy compared to what? I mean, it's life. You have good times and you have bad times. When you have a family, you don't worry about so much what's not happening. You concern yourself about what can happen. So I'm more about what can happen as opposed to what has happened. Very optimistic, and I'm thankful.
Because you can see that you never stopped. You
No.
never gave up.
No.
I mean, your music was always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's admirable.
And I always feel if I couldn't make a living singing, I could always do it cooking or sewing. So I
you
didn't
can be a
mind.
dishwasher or waitress, right? You've done that.
That was always a way, and so I chose to figure out the way as opposed to complain about what wasn't happening.
Right. But you need to give yourself some credit because there are some people who would have crumbled. There are also people who would have given up and you never did.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what
So
that
you
is.
need to give yourself some credit.
I don't know how to give up.
That's right. And that's the difference.
Yes.
Tell us about winning the Grammy. We saw it on TV.
Oh.
And you were crying.
Oh, I wasn't crying. I was blubbering.
But the excitement, the anticipation.
Well,
of being
you
there.
know, that was my third nomination, and so having been beat out previously, I wasn't really expecting a win. And I was up against folk who I had been up against before, so I didn't expect to win. So when my name was called, I looked at my husband and said, "Did they really call my name?" He said, "Yes." And I was still sitting there. So he got up and he said, "Honey, you have to get up to go get your Grammy." So I finally got up, and all the way up there I says, "I can't believe this. I can't." So when I got to the stage, the young man who called my name, I said, "Did you really call my name?" And he said, "Yes." And it was like it all came to realization that I'm actually getting the Grammy. And then just the tears just, I don't know what I said. I didn't have anything
You thanked
prepared.
a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, I guess I did. Everything that was coming in my head, I was just saying it. And so I took today, I couldn't tell you exactly what I said, but everybody said it was good.
It was a wonderful.
So, but I was just, tears was just meeting. And I think I must have cried a half an hour.
We saw a little piece of that on TV. It was great.
I bet it was
And
funny.
you were so respected. Dr. John said, and I quote, if he won the Grammy that year, he was going to give it to you.
Wow. Well, everybody was rooting for me, and you know, I really felt great in terms of having that kind of camaraderie and friendship with people, because they wanted me to have it as bad as I wanted it. I just didn't believe I had actually gotten it. And it took me a while for that to sink in. Yes.
Beautiful mom.
Yes.
Have you used Heidi to help in the Lion's Den?
No more Lion's Den. No more? No more Lion's Den. That's a lot of work. People don't realize owning a nightclub and having a nightclub the way we had a nightclub. Yeah. We loved what we did. We loved our patrons. We took care of them. You know, if they couldn't find a cab, I would drive them to the hotel. And if we couldn't have it our way, we didn't want to be in the business anymore. And at the time when we came back, finding good help was very difficult. So we just decided to let it go. I know, it was different. Yes.
The cultural life of New Orleans is the same before of Katrina, or is different?
It's different.
Tell us something about this, please.
Different in a good way, and you could say both ways, but to me I find it different in a good way. The good way is that we're finding that we can work together better. Finally, the musicians are getting the recognition that they should have been getting years before as to how we are the city. We are the foundation of New Orleans, and that's being recognized, so that's the good way. The sad part, not the bad part, but the sad part is a lot of those very musicians who should have been getting recognition are unable to get back home financially. So we're working on trying to get them back to where they want to be, where their heart is, and that is getting them back to New Orleans. We've lost quite a few because of broken hearts. But I think those who really, really want to come home will eventually get back, and New Orleans will be pretty close to the way it used to be musically. We don't want it the way it was the other way. We want it to come back and be better, and I think they're realizing that now. The arts are being recognized.
But what's happened for the lower ninth ward, where, I mean, it was a district of where the culture of New Orleans came from?
Well, that's the part I'm speaking of. A lot of the musicians who lived in the lower ninth ward, they were in houses that belonged to their families, had been in the family for a long time. Consequently, they had no insurance, which means they had no money. And so those who want to come back don't have the financial means to do it. So unfortunately, they probably won't get back for a long time. But I think they will eventually. But right now, it's steadily growing, but very, very slow.
And you, where are you from? From which?
I'm in the ninth ward. I'm just not in the lower ninth ward. I mean, ninth ward is a huge area, and we're on the eastern end of the city called New Orleans East, which is still in a process of growing as well. Yes. Okay.
What do you think about the music of new African American generation, for example, hip hop or something like that?
Well, it's their music. My generation was different. Everyone has their generation. When I was coming up, it was the beginning of what we call rock and roll. And what they call rock and roll now has nothing to do with the way it was when I was little. So this new generation is hearing the music the way they love it. When I came up, it was my music. My children had their music in the 70s and 80s. I enjoyed the 70s and 80s. But today's music, I like some and some I don't like. I don't like the ones that has to use profanity to describe their neighborhood, because I grew up in so-called ghetto, if they would call it that. We didn't call it ghetto, it was home. And we appreciated home. We didn't have any negativity about where we lived. We kept it together, we kept it clean. The children of today and the musicians of today, the younger ones see a whole different scene. I mean, they're telling it from their perspective, and their perspective isn't necessarily the way it is. It's just the way they perceive it. And it isn't as bad as they make it out to be, but once again, it's their opinion. I don't go along with the way they express it. It's okay to express what you feel, but you don't have to do it in that way. So if they would change the way they express it, I think I would be more apt to listen to it. But I don't, because I don't cuss a lot. I'm not one to use a lot of profanity, so I don't listen to it. So I guess I might be missing something, I don't know. But until they change it, I won't know because I won't listen. Yes.
What are the differences between a CD recording and a live performance?
For you, how do you live these two different?
It's all one person. It's me. I don't separate the two. I'm a mom, grandmom, great grandmom. I'm a wife. You know, first I'm the wife, then I'm the mom, the great grandmom, because all our children have children of their own, and it's kind of difficult to separate the two because all of my life I've been a ham. I've been in front of people. I've been entertaining all of my life. I'm an only child. And when you're an only child, you do whatever it takes to get attention. And I've been getting attention all my life, so I don't separate the two.
Is there one you prefer more? Do you prefer being on stage, or do you prefer being in a studio and concentrating on cutting your...
I'm comfortable wherever.
You're comfortable.
When I'm in the studio, I pretend that I'm in front of a live audience.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable wherever.
And you have a very open mind, and I think you recently recorded Heart of Steel with Galactic, which is a hip hop group or rap.
Oh, Galactic?
Yes. And how did you meet them?
Well, they've been knowing me all of their lives. I mean, I'm old enough to be all of them's mom. But when I went into the studio and recorded, what I heard later was not as what I did in the studio. So they did a lot of technical dressing it up. And when I heard it, it was so different. I said, "Is that me?" Which means I can do that. Which made me feel good that these youngsters thought enough of me to really want me to be a part of their project, and they were happy. So am I.
And do you have a record project? Or
Well, I'm not sure if I'll ever have a record project because no one at this time seemed to be interested. I don't know why. I mean, it's been, almost 4 years now since I've had a release. And of course, I'm 4 years older now. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or if they just don't feel that I'm a product that they can do anything with. I don't know, but I'm going to always be singing, so it's on them. Thank goodness records don't keep me working. It never has. I mean, it's my rapport with my fan base that has kept me working. And I think that's very important, even though the records would help, but I think my fan base and what they care and what they think is more important to me than the record part. The record would be nice, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not sad about it. I've gone a long time without records before, so.
Where's the bulk of your performances now? Are you on the road or?
Always have been, and I guess always will be on the road.
I know you do all the festivals. Yeah.
Most of it has been out of the city, ironically, and still is. I do a lot more on the road than I do in the city. It works for me.
How involved were you in your club? How much influence
I was
did
the
it have
pencil pusher.
on how much influence did it have on your career?
I think it helped a lot. My fan base grew because they got to know me, Irma, and I think that's what basically started me to allowing my audiences to make requests, because I prefer doing what they want to hear as opposed to what I want to sing, and what I want to sing is what they want to hear. It just makes it easier for me to be able to have a lineup of songs when I know that that's what they want to hear. I know when they leave they're going to be happy, and that's what's important. That's what entertainment should be, as opposed to me just singing what I want to sing, and it may not be what they want to hear. So I always allow, if I have the time, I always allow my audiences to make requests. Sometimes they ask for things I haven't sung since the studio, but I try. I do try, because I have discovered over the years, and because of the Lion's Den, that people want you to entertain them honestly. And they realize that I'm not 20 and I don't remember all of those lyrics. So trying not to disappoint them, I write them down because I never know, it may be one verse that you may love out of the whole song, and if I don't remember it and you don't hear your verse, then you're not happy. So I have the lyrics there so I can sing it. And I think I've gotten most of them into, I have an iPad now. But I do have most of them in the iPad, and when someone asks for them, if I don't remember it, I'll look it up and I'll do it. Even if the band doesn't know it, I still sing it for them. Because it's important that they hear it. Yeah.
You have like one or two favorite songs that you usually want to sing when you're in front of an audience?
Not really. I enjoy singing them all. There's only one I won't do. Other than that, they're all the rest are fine. I mean, I choose songs because I like them, and it's no problem singing what you enjoy doing. It's a problem singing something you don't like. You gotta tell us it's a man's, woman's world. I don't sing that song. I don't like it, never have, so I don't do it. And I don't mix my gospel music with my rhythm and blues music. So if you want one or the other, you can get it, but you won't get the two of them together. No. So maybe next time I come over, I'll do gospel.
Okay. You started, you were singing in a Baptist church.
I still do.
You still do?
Oh, yes.
And is that, do you prefer singing gospel or the both?
If I could make a living at it, yes. Yes.
That's your home. That's
that's my heart.
That's your heart music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whenever I need to be uplifted, that's where I go. It's prayer to music, so it's always good to go there. Yeah.
And it's the roots.
Of course.
So it's not that far away.
No. A lot of your early blues and early rhythm and blues was adapted from gospel songs. Yeah. Ray Charles did a good job of doing that.
Well, you've been doing some wonderful tributes at Jazz Fest, Mahalia Jackson, Rosetta Tharpe.
Love her.
It was a beautiful, beautiful set.
Yes. Quint Davis, I guess he's been a fan of Mahalia for a long time. In fact, she was at his very first Jazz Fest. And of course, she's deceased. And he always wanted a way to give tribute to her. And I think he felt that after Katrina, after the storm, was a great time to kind of uplift everyone. And he asked me, would I be amenable to doing it? I said, of course I'd do it. And it's been going on every year ever since.
And every year we're happy.
Thank you. So I love it.
Is there anybody in particular you just loved working with? Somebody that people will know, somebody that you felt had the same idea about what making music is, that you'd get up on stage tomorrow and do it again?
I have been truly blessed in that everyone that I've ever collaborated with, worked with on songs that we've recorded, we've been all on the same page. And I think because we've pretty much been through the same kind of struggles with the music industry, and we have great respect for each other, that I've had no difficulty working with any of them. And I'm not just being diplomatic, it's the truth, yes.
Is there a female singer that you feel particularly close to?
No. Yes and no. I have two that we've been on tours together. And it was funny because when we were on tour, this was in 1998 when we did the Sing It album, Sing It CD. It was Marsha Ball and Tracy Nelson. And since we're kind of all from the same era, we were doing this tour, and press conferences like this, when we would go to them, they weren't really interested in too many questions because we weren't fighting with each other. We had respect for each other and we loved working with each other, so we weren't that interesting. So we didn't get very many press conferences, which is fine because it wasn't meant for us to be out competing with each other. We were out having a great time. In fact, Marsha she said that, isn't it strange how you can have this much fun and make a living at it and get paid? And I thought she was right on it. Because we were having fun and we did enjoy each other's company. And we traveled on the same bus and we didn't infringe on each other's space. It was just a nice tour. Yeah.
And how do you keep your beautiful voice? I mean, do you have special exercise? Did you took?
I don't know how it happens. All I can say is that I'm just blessed. I have days when it sounds better than others, and that's with anything. The weather has a lot to do with how it comes out. I do have a very sort of a bad sinus problem, and when they're draining, I can't reach the high notes, but I'm still able to sing. I find that even when I'm hoarse, I can still sing. I just can't reach the high notes. But I don't know, I'm just blessed to have a pretty decent voice, especially at my age, because most of us, when we get my age, the voice goes this way. But I'm finding days when it feels like it's going this way, and I'm surprised as anybody, like, wow, is this me? Because there are days when it really sounds so clear and crisp, so I have to wonder, is that really my voice? Because at this time in my life, when I know a lot of us, my age, voices are on the way out, mine seem to be getting stronger. And I don't know if it's because I don't drink and I don't smoke, but I'm always in environments where it is, so people die with lung cancer who don't smoke. So all I can say is that I'm blessed. That's the only thing I can contribute it to.
I think you will sing like German Basel until 80.
Well, I'm 71, so I don't know. I mean, until it stops, I guess.
Sure.
Well, you know what kind of gives you hope is that when you see people like B.B. King, who's in his 80s, Pinetop Perkins, who was in his 90s, there's hope for me to continue. And I think the business has a lot to do with how longevity arrives. If you love what you do, and that's in anything, whether it's singing or whatever type of job you're in, if you love it and you don't spend a lot of time worrying about it, I think that's what keeps you youthful. And I can only attribute that, and of course the blessings of God, to still be around to do this.
Got another one.
Sure.
Being from New Orleans.
That's okay.
Your necklace reminded me of it. You wearing the open heart necklace, and I'm going to back into this question. Legends Park, you just had a statue unveiled, and the necklace, you're wearing the necklace on the bronze statue.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the necklace was a gift from my husband about 5 years ago when they first came out. And people ask me about it. It's kind of who I am. I am a person who's open to people. And when Jane I met her, by the way, and she gave me another one. Her whole theory was to have an open heart. And my life has been with an open heart. In fact, when I first met my husband, it took him some time to get used to me talking to everybody. He says, "You talk to anybody?" I said, "Yes, I do." So he finally got used to me doing that, and he knows that it doesn't mean anything, but that's just who I am. I will talk to anyone. And I try to have that open heart because I give what I want back. And if you give negative, you get negative. I try not to give negative. Don't mind. I do get angry sometimes. But I try not to take it out on anyone else. I try to give what I want back, and this kind of represents that for me.
So back to the second part of the question, your statue. At Legends Park, I sent them the picture.
Well, when he first did it, I was fatter, and by the time it came out, I was thinner. So it looks like me and it doesn't look like me, but the honor itself is overwhelming because I don't know of too many people other than those that are there who had that honor while they were still alive. And to have a full statue of you in a Legends Park means it's good to be a living legend. And they took the picture from the Grammy-winning CD, which was After the Rain, so it's kind of have a twofold significance there, and I'm very overwhelmed by it. Yes, it's very humbling.
So it's your only concert in Europe this time, but do you have a project to come back in Europe? And because your European fans miss you.
Well, sure. It's not my fault I don't come over more often, but I think a lot of it has to do with money and time. He brought me over, and when he told me why he was bringing me over, I was like, okay, but, you know, it's overwhelming to be honored somewhere that you don't get to play as often as you'd like. I think I'll be back in Europe in November, but I'm not sure if that's final yet. But I'd love to come over. I don't have a problem with it. A lot of my fans are here in Europe, and I would love to come more often, but I think a lot of it has to do with economics. And I have a large band, and most people come and cut the band down. My band is, I still have the old-fashioned rhythm and blues band. So I think I'm one of the few people who still carry a large band, so that's kind of difficult.
What kind of surprises did you prepare for the audience tonight?
I'm just going to be Irma. I don't spend a lot of time, and I'm going to be honest about it, I don't spend a lot of time rehearsing. I like spontaneity, and my band gets mad with me about that, but that's okay, as long as they're still there. And they know that I will make sure that people understand when they ask for something that they don't know, that I give them the respect to letting them know that they don't know it, that I'm doing it a cappella. And so over the years, they've gotten used to me doing that. But I don't do a lot of rehearsing, because we've been playing this stuff for years. What do we need to rehearse it for? I rehearse the new stuff, not the old stuff. So it'll just be Irma, unless you have some suggestions.
How much time does it take you to understand what kind of audience you have and what kind of people?
5 minutes. Really, in 5 minutes I can tell. I have a certain amount of songs that I sing when I start to get started. And if that doesn't seem to be reaching them, I just switch gears and do all the old stuff, what they want to hear. So it's just that simple. That's why I don't have a set list, because set lists you have to stick to. I have written set lists and forgot what I had on it and just do whatever, so I don't write a set list anymore. If they need one, then they need to have somebody off to the side writing down what I'm doing, because I won't remember. I just keep singing. And if someone asks, I go right into what it is they're asking for. I don't have a special way that I do a show, because it's not my show, it's their show. So in about 5 minutes, I can usually tell if what I'm doing is going to make it or not. And if I have to resort to doing someone else's music, so what? It's entertainment.
But how would you describe the difference between an American audience and a European or Swiss audience?
They're all fans. They love what they love, and they know what they love. You know, the only difference is one is in the United States and one is in Europe. They're still fans, and the Europeans sometimes have to be coaxed to loosen up. You know, I like people who are vocal. I don't like you to just sit and, you know, it's your performance. You paid to come and see me. Let me know what it is you want to hear. I can entertain me at home and look in the mirror, you know, which I don't. I look at television all day long. But you have to tell me what it is you want to hear. I mean, yes, I'm an entertainer. Yes, I'm there to entertain you. But how would I know if you don't tell me? So if you tell me, I know where to go. If not, I'll just sing what I think is going to work. And then when I get the paper the next day, she didn't do very well. Well, you didn't tell me. You know, so I don't really take too much about the criticism, because unless you understand me, yes, I'll probably get criticized over and over and over, because I don't concern myself with trying to remember everything. I'm honest enough to let you know that I'm not 20 anymore. I don't remember everything I've ever done. So until you tell me what you want to hear, I won't know. So I only sing what I think you want. So until you respond and let me know, you get what you get.
Having been in New Orleans many, many times, but I live here, I still get the difference how the Swiss people react or the people in the States in New Orleans. It's just what the gentleman asked you before and what you said. We are a little bit.
Yeah, but before the day is over with, I usually get you loosened up.
No, but it takes a while.
Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what set of mind, what the mindset is. If they came just to listen, then I sing stuff just to listen to. I slow it down. I don't do a lot of up-tempo songs. I do more of a slower pace. if you get into it and you want something up, then I'll sing more fast songs. But it really depends on the audience. And I mean, they have some audiences in the United States who just sit and look. Okay, but before my show is over with, they don't be sitting and looking. So I still feel that I have a pretty good grip on what my audiences really are wanting to hear. And most of the time, I'm pretty right on it.
But did I tell you that the Swiss are low?
Nah, they're not. They're not. They're not. I've been to Switzerland before, and I've had some Switzerland audiences who were very much with me. So I don't even go with that kind of mindset. It'll play its own game. Yes.
You're open.
I'm open. Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky and the sweet silver song of the lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you never walk alone. You never walk alone. You're right.
It's from the musical Carousel.
You're right. You're right.
Sang it in high school.
You're right. I didn't sing that one in Carousel, though. I sung that other one.
The one that the star sang.
Yeah, we did
that
that
was
play.
so
Sweetheart,
good.
sweetheart,
Yeah.
sweetheart. Oh. Yeah. They didn't give me that one.
Well, no, you got a bigger role.
Yeah, it was all right.